Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your mowers have practically built themselves.
Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Merv and welcome to this episode of Echoes from the Chalkboard. Recently, the Salt Lake City School District voted on a measure from a committee that was put together to examine whether or not they should close any elementary schools in their district. They had undergone an audit, and the audit showed that they were running several schools with very minimal amounts of students in them, and that they were wasting taxpayer money, so they really needed to look at closing some schools and becoming a little bit more efficient. So recently, the school district voted to close 4 elementary schools in the Salt Lake City School District. Mary Jackson is one of them. Riley was another one. Hawthorne was another one, and I can't remember the last one. Emlyn Benyon. So today we are going to look at one of these elementary schools, kind of a history of it, and a little conjecture on what might be in the future for it. So stick with Mad Dog Merv as we look at Mary Jackson Elementary School in Salt Lake City.
So I think I should make a little distinction here. When I say that, when I refer to a school, what I mean is not just the building, but the community, the land that it sits on, the patrons of that school, because our schools really are community centers. So when I talk about them closing a building down or a school building, that's completely different. I mean, that is part of the school, the building, the physical plant. But when I talk about a school, like they're closing a school, that affects an entire community. So kind of keep that in mind as we go forward, looking at not only this building, but the other 3 buildings we will eventually look at that the Salt Lake School District will soon be closing. The following excerpt comes from a document written in 1940 for the 50th anniversary of the Salt Lake City School District. I'll read it to you word for word from the original document. This building, the elementary, was authorized in April of 1892 and was erected during 1892 to 1893. It is a 3-story, 12-room building and was occupied in September of 1893. In the year 1910 to 1911, a 1-story building containing 2 classrooms, 2 lavatories, and a boiler room was built just east of the main building. The part was added, in 1916, the patrons of the school began asking for a junior high school building, and in 1920 to 21, an addition was constructed to house the junior high school. Another addition to the junior high building, containing 2 gymnasiums, an auditorium, cafeteria, and 4 classrooms, was completed and occupied in September of 1929. During the year 39 and 40, the old building was remodeled into it. Okay, so now here's some stats that I compiled from other records. The Jackson School sat on 750 West, 200 North in Salt Lake City. Originally built in 1892, like we said. The square footage of the original building, however, was 52,958 square feet. Now, it did have those additions in 1920 and 1929, as well as a library that was built on the corner of 2nd North and 800 West, that became a library for the school. And actually that building is still there today and is used by a Polynesian church. So anyway, Jackson had over 20,000 square feet of additions, and by the 1960s was at 86,879 square feet. Now, mind you, this sat on 6.8 square acres. The enrollment back in 1965 was 563 pupils average. I really like this picture. This is a more modern picture taken of the old building back in the, I want to say the mid 60s, so about the 1965 time frame. Actually, this photo was taken in the late 1940s. So, but the fence, that fence on the left-hand side, I can still see that pale green color. There's still a few of those around in the school district. Now here is, I want to say this is 1930, and this would be the junior high gym edition. So the junior high edition is actually in the back, the classrooms, and to the right here, these are your gymnasiums and cafeteria and whatnot that was added in the 20s. In the left-hand side of the photo, you can see what was the main office and restrooms that had been mentioned earlier, had been added in the early 1900s. The architecture on the old building, particularly the elementary school, I find absolutely stunning. Here is a picture a little bit later on of that same area, the junior high building, and the office area. Now, very few pictures exist of the interior, although there is this one from 1908 of the main foyer of the building, and I'm assuming this is, because of the year, the main foyer of the old elementary school. Okay, so now let's go take a look and see what the school looks like today. Of note, I was contacted about a decade ago over some concerns about the name of Jackson Elementary. Was it named after Andrew Jackson? Well, after looking through all the records I could from the early days, I could not find anything. The district decided to go ahead and officially name the building after Mary W. Jackson, a local person of importance back many years ago. So, Jackson School, of service to the community for over 130 years. From 1893 till 2024. Wow, what a distinguished career. Thank you for the memories, and thanks for all of the staff and teachers who have served at this building over the years.